So excited that you guys are here. This is my second time to teach this today, but I also taught this live in person 2 weeks ago at a women's networking group. And I saw that group again yesterday, and multiple people came up to me and told me that they've already implemented the things from this presentation. So like, yay, it works. And they're seeing results already. So I'm excited to share it with you guys as well. Also, Lynn, I'm a little envious. I can see you're at the pool. But glad you. All right, so we're going to do a quick intro and tell you a little bit about me. I know you all know me from different areas, but hopefully this will bring it together for everyone. I'll walk through 5 simple habits that you can incorporate this summer. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with the best way for you to incorporate these habits so that you have success. So I'm Meg Fitzgill, as you all know. Oh, one more. I am a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and then I also just recently started working at the Thermography Center of Dallas. So got a few different hats that I wear. So a few core beliefs that I have, and I really bring this into my practice and anytime I'm working with clients. Number one, food is medicine. Food is the most powerful medicine, but it also has a reverse impact. So if you're not eating the right things, it can be poison for your body. So working with somebody, doing the research to really know what works for your body is going to make a huge difference for you. Number 2, your body is designed to heal. And this is like one of my favorite things that I learned when I started studying the human body and how it works. So every cell in our body is constantly renewing and regrowing, and literally every organ in our body renews and regrows every 7 years. So there is always hope for healing, and our bodies are designed to heal. So we put the right inputs in, and you're going to go on the trajectory towards a healed body as well. And then number 3, I really recommend testing, don't guessing. So the society we live in today, everybody has access to Reels and TikToks and YouTube videos to get information and to hear things that vaguely sound like what you're dealing with. And so then you take that advice. Don't do that. Do some type of testing, whether or not it's blood test or it's a thermography test, or maybe it's hair tissue mineral testing. Any type of testing, functional testing specifically, is going to give you a much better idea of what works for your body and how you and your body uniquely needs to heal. So I'm a huge fan of testing. For my private practice, I do personalized nutrition and lifestyle updates. I also do group coaching and membership, and then I focus on functional root cause testing. So let's dive in. If I can get this changed, there we go. So 5 simple health habits. The very first one I want to talk about today is kind of my favorite combo, specifically for women. So women really need to have plants and protein on every plate. This is what gives us energy and power. So most women are severely under eating both protein and fiber. So when you use this combo of plants and protein, that's when you have a lot of success. And this also allows, oops, I went too fast. This will help with giving you more sustained long-term energy. It will help you with cravings, and it will also help you with hormone balancing. And here's a few examples of this P plus P equation. So for breakfast, you could have a protein smoothie with mixed greens and chia seeds. So you've got the protein powder, which would be the protein, obviously. The mixed greens would be your plant. You could also throw in maybe some frozen berries. And then chia seeds are kind of unique because they are both protein and plants, or if you put that together, plantain. And so you get like it's a superfood because it boosts you even more. So that would be a simple breakfast idea. For lunch, you could do a chicken salad and have some avocado and cucumbers, maybe some tomatoes on there too, if you could handle nightshades. And then for a snack would be an apple with almond butter. So combining, like just having an apple, we think of that as a healthy snack, but for women, you really want to combine it with the protein. And that's going to make it more satiating, give you more benefit, and help you long term. So I always get a question about my favorite protein powder. If your body can handle animal protein and you don't have any, restrictions based on religion or ethics or something like that, this is my favorite. It's Equip Foods protein powder, and it has 5 ingredients or less, tastes delicious, and it comes from grass-fed beef. So highly recommend that. And you can get 15% off with my name. Just make sure you remember 2 T's and 2 L's. So the other thing that this will do when you do plants and protein, it will help stabilize your blood sugar, which most of us in the American society really struggle with stabilized blood sugar. And so that makes a big difference as well. Okay, so number 2 is more move in micro moments. Has anybody here heard of Dr. Chatterjee? He is a British doctor. He's actually like the most famous British doctor currently, or most popular. He has a TV show, and then he has a top ranked podcast as well in the UK. But I think it's really his TV show that has made him known. What he does is he moves into people's homes and then lives with them for a month. And so he helps them change their diet, change the way they're cooking. He also will identify things like mold or other things, hazards in their house that are causing illness, and he'll help them reverse all of that. And so it's a really cool TV show, but then he also writes amazing books. And so I always like recommending his books to clients because they're easy to understand. So even though he is a doctor, they're not books that have a ton of require a PhD to be able to understand. It's like simple tips for everyday people. And so one of his books, and I think this was his second to last book, he just got a new book that I haven't read, but this book is the Feel Better in 5. And it's all about little simple habits you can do in 5 minutes a day to make a huge impact to your health. And so he talks in there about these health snacks. And here's some examples. So 10 minutes a day of just walking after meals. That can be an easy health snack. You could also do stretching while watching TV. And then you could do push-ups while you make your morning coffee. So I actually do the push-ups. I do it at night. Both my husband and I, before, like 30 minutes before we plan on going to bed, we have a hot drink. He has a bedtime tea. I have a magnesium drink that I do. And while the water is boiling, I do push-ups against the counter. So not like all the way down on the floor, because I'm not crazy. Like, who wants to do that before bed? But I just do them up against the counter. And when I started, I could do like 5, maybe 10. Now at this point, it's been almost a year that I've been doing it. During the time that it takes for the water to boil, I can get between 40 and 50 push-ups in. And so I've noticed a huge improvement in my strength. And now I actually can kind of do a push-up on the floor. But again, I'm not going to do that before bed. But it is kind of cool to see how just this simple little habit that we already were making our hot drink at night, I stacked on this push-up habit, and I'm seeing big results from it. Okay, oops, this keeps on jumping ahead, sorry. So movement keeps blood sugar steady. It also boosts your mood, and it can fight against stiffness. So just these little things make a huge difference for you. Okay, tip number 3 is to hydrate with intention. So most people don't know this, but the number 1 nutritional deficiency in the US is water. And so most of us are walking around dehydrated, and there's a lot of different things that we think there's something wrong with us. We need to take a pill for it. And maybe you just need to drink some water. So examples are headaches, fatigue, sugar cravings, constipation, and dry skin. And the list just goes on from there. But I love that Anita just took a sip. I feel like maybe we all need to go ahead and take a sip. Drink your water. It's important. Yeah, I'll do the same.
I'd rather it be wine, but
Right. Balance, water and wine. So a general rule of thumb for people is to drink half your body weight in fluid ounces of water every day. And so an example of this would be if you weigh 200 pounds and you would want to drink 100 fluid ounces of water a day. And again, that's a general rule of thumb. As we work together, we can get more specific for what your body truly needs. But a lot of people are kind of overwhelmed with that number, half their body weight. And so I really encourage you to start slowly and slowly build up. in the amount of water you're drinking. And eventually you'll get to the right amount for you. And you probably will notice a huge difference in a lot of different areas of your health. And then electrolytes really do make a difference as well. So it can be, in a fancy flavored electrolyte packet. There's a lot of them out there. You just want to make sure you're reading the ingredients, making sure they're clean ingredients and don't have a bunch of chemicals in them. But also for many of us, especially women, when we are stressed, our bodies dump sodium first. And so just adding a little salt, which I know sounds opposite of what every medical doctor is going to tell you. But if you're using good quality salt, you can literally take just a pinch and put it in your water. You don't even have to be able to taste it, but it will help your body absorb the water and utilize it better. And so that can be a game changer for people. The key is you have to use good quality salt. And so I recommend something like Redmond's Real Salt or the Celtic Gray Salt, something like that. Don't use just your general or generic table salt. That's not going to do it for you. Okay.
I have a
Next
question.
one. Oh, yeah.
Can you use the pink Himalayan or is that
You can,
okay?
but even that I would be picky with. So one of the things that I do, and I think Vicky still does this, who's on the call right now, that there's a solution called Soleil water. And so you take a mason jar and you do about a third or a fourth of it with salt and then add water to it. And you shake it up and you let it sit for at least 24 hours. And then after that, what you do is you take a spoonful of it and you add it to your water every day. And so it's a really cool, like homemade electrolyte. And I used to do that with the pink Himalayan salt from Costco, just because like it's a lot of salt, right, that you're using. And with letting it sit for 24 hours, the water absorbs a lot of the salt. And so I used that for a long time because I was buying it in bulk. But then at some point I switched over to Redmond's and I wish more the water actually absorbed or the salt absorbed into the water. And it was startling the difference. And so then I realized, oh, this is a much better quality. And so I know there are some pink salts that are really good quality, but you have to do your research. And so based on my just home experiment, I can tell you the Kirkland's brand probably isn't the best one, but it's better than traditional just table salt. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Vicky, what do you still do Soleil water?
I do. And I use Redmond's, but I've also started using the Celtic salt.
Uh-huh.
But I noticed I taste more of the salt with the Redmond's, and so I felt like that was more effective than the Celtic one. So, but I use when I fix my water in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
I've already had my Soleil, but I'll add the Celtic salt to this cup and drink that throughout the day.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I don't know.
We're big salt nerds, and so I actually have 5 different salts sitting on the counter.
Same.
We use different ones for different things, but the Celtic sea salt, my husband for a while would just like walk by and just take a pinch and put it in his mouth. And he's like, this is like a snack, just salt,
Where
So
do you, hey Meg, where do you buy the Redmonds at?
I normally get it on Thrive Market because I'm already a member of Thrive Market. I get a discount, but you can also buy it directly. Just go to Redmond's. I think it's redmondsrealsalt.com and you can get it from there. And then like
I've
they sell
seen
it at
it.
Sprouts and Whole Foods as
Yeah.
well.
I think which I thought was kind of crazy, but
Oh, you cut out a little bit, Vicky. What were you saying?
I've found it at my local Albertsons.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's getting more and more popular. And so I'm glad
Mhm.
people are realizing there's better options. Okay, so let's talk about gratitude. So one of the areas of health and wellness is mental health. And doing some type of gratitude practice or gratitude journal really can make a difference for your overall wellness. And so I personally started doing a gratitude journal, I think 2018. So it's been a while now. And my practice has evolved the way I do it, but I definitely recommend it. And so what you want to do is on a daily basis, write down things that you're grateful for. And so obviously it could be the big things like, oh, I got a raise or I got a new client if you're self-employed. But also, and probably more importantly, is the little things that like surprise you, that make you happy, that make you smile. And so I am part of a women's walking group here in Dallas. And a few weeks ago, we went for our traditional loop around this park that we do. And at the end, we always go and we sit at some picnic benches. And we were talking about gratitude journaling and how to do it. And so when we got to the picnic tables and we're talking, there was this little girl that ran by us who was probably like 3 or 4 years old. And she had the cutest giggle, and her dad was following her and she was going, Daddy, Daddy, catch me. But it was her giggle. Like as soon as she giggled, this group of 10 women, we all just looked at each other and all of us like just got this huge smile on our face. And one of the women said, that's my favorite sound in the world. And I was like, that's it. That's the thing you want to write about in your gratitude journal. It's these things that are totally free. But when we are in the present and paying attention, we're like, wow, that brings me joy. I'm grateful for that moment. And like just even talking about it right now, like I get emotional. And like it's not my kid. I don't even know this kid, you know. But it was just like this moment of pure joy in the middle of this day. And that's the type of stuff that you want to capture. So I recommend writing anywhere from 3 to 5 things every day and make it things that happened within the past 24 hours. And so by giving yourself this time constraint, number one, you can put it into your routine. So I personally do my gratitude journal first thing in the morning. And so I'm reflecting on the day before, but some people like to do it right before bed. So you figure out where it stacks well in your daily routine. But it also forces you throughout the day to be looking for things to write about the next day or to write about when you do your gratitude journaling. And when you do that, it makes you more in the present moment. And when we're in the present moment, then we're not in the past where we tend to often have regret and guilt over things, or we're not in the future where we're creating anxiety or worry about things to come that might come or might not come. And so it keeps you grounded in the moment. And then on top of that, studies have shown that this really helps build emotional resilience as well. And so I highly, highly, highly recommend gratitude journaling. It doesn't take long, but it can have a huge impact in your overall happiness. And a lot of things, if you read about gratitude journaling, say to handwrite it. And so like you're kinesthetically learning as you're writing. But I personally, I did that for the first few years, but for the last 3 years or so, I've been using my phone just because I always have my phone with me. And I like the phone more. So number one, I always have it with me, so it's easy to have it stacked. But number two, I now have 3 years worth of data in there. And so in the morning, when I write out what I'm grateful for from the past 24 hours, I then will jump back to 2024 on this day and see what I wrote, and 2023 on this day and see what I wrote. And so it's been really fun to like revisit these random memories as well. So I definitely recommend doing that. But who knows, maybe handwriting is better for you. But for me, it's been using my phone. Okay, so final tip is eat the rainbow and really focus on seasonal variety. So the latest studies from gut health experts show that we need 30 different plant foods every single week, which is a whole bunch of plant foods. Just to clarify, plant foods is fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs. So all of those combined are plant foods, but you want 30 different, that's the goal. And this is what is going to lead to really good gut microbiome diversity. And all of our health comes from our guts. So taking care of your gut is going to have a huge impact for you. And so what I recommend you do is you track it. And again, I use just the notes on my phone, and every week have my little list of plants I'm eating. And the first quarter of this year, I tracked it every week, and I did not hit the goal more than half of that quarter. So you don't have to be perfect, but it made me more conscious and aware. And I feel like I already have a really wide palate, but it made me realize that I was not eating diversely enough. So I also recommend eating in season. And so seasonal foods are always going to be fresher because they were just picked. They're going to be more nutrient dense because they're picked at the time when it's at the height of the season. So you're going to get the most value out of them. And then a lot of times they're cheaper as well because they're in abundance. So I really love the tool seasonalfoodguide.org. You can go in there and you can put the state that you're in. So I've put Texas. And then you can put the time of year, so last part of June, and it will tell you everything that's in season right now, fruits and vegetables and herbs in your area. And so it can be a good way, like, first of all, if you're just in a food rut and feel like you're eating the same thing over and over and over again, it can be a really good way for you to think like, oh, I didn't know that cherries are in season. I don't think they are. I should pick something that is. I did not know that grapes are in season. And so now you can go find the great grape that's in season right now and enjoy that. So a few things are in season right now: berries, cucumbers, tomatoes, zucchini, herbs, leafy greens, and peaches. Okay, so those are the 5 tips, but knowing this stuff is definitely not enough because, knowledge where you're not taking action does you no good. And so what I have found for myself is consistency and then accountability is really what helps these tools be effective for you. And so one of my goals for 2025 was to 10x my health. And the term 10x came from the book 10x is easier than 2x, which is a business book. It's not actually a health and wellness or nutrition book, but I guess because my business is in health and wellness, I just attributed it to my own health and wellness. And so I've really been pursuing 10xing my health this year. And I've been documenting some of it on YouTube. So that's what the QR code is here. But you can also just go to YouTube and type in Balance Redeem Nutrition and see that. There's not very many videos because life has been busy, but you can still see my progression there. But a few things that I've done since the beginning of the year is walking more. So at the beginning of the year, I realized through my tracker that I was only walking between 2,000 and 3,000 steps a day, unless I was like intentionally going out on a walk, because I live in a smaller home. I work from home a lot. When I do go into the office, my office isn't that big. So I'm just not moving my body a lot. So I decided every month I would add 250 steps to my goal. So it wasn't like I had to go out there and start, walking a 10K a month or 10,000 steps a day, which is what marketing tells you. That's actually not what science tells you either. But I just have been slowly upping the goal, and it has made a huge difference for me. I also started tracking my plant foods, like I said. So the 30 plant foods a week is one of my goals. And I definitely don't hit it every week, but I'm more conscious and aware of it. And I've kind of started gamifying it too. So like when I buy mixed lettuce for salad, or when I buy lettuce for salad, I'm not just buying a single lettuce. I'll buy the box that has a whole bunch of different lettuces in it so I can count 5 instead of 1. Doing simple things like that makes a difference as well. And then I personally decided that I needed to cut back a little bit on my alcohol and my sugar use. So for me, I decided I'm just not going to have these things 2 days in a row. So if I really want a glass of wine, I'll have a glass of wine, but I know tomorrow I won't have a glass of wine. And so the next day I could have a glass of wine. And it's just made me more intentional. And I even kind of plan out my week and know what days I'm going to have my glass of wine. Sugar, I don't generally plan on. Sugar tends to be more of just a temptation that I see every now and then. And so when I see the temptation, I'll think, did I have it yesterday? Oh, I did. Okay, I'm going to pass it today because I made this promise to myself. So just having these little consistent rules for yourself makes a huge difference. And my slide might change. There we go. So just in the 6 months that I've been doing this, here's some of the changes I've seen. So I naturally dropped 10 pounds. And that's, again, without doing anything major. And I already, because of my profession and what I do, I already was pretty healthy. And so to drop 10 pounds is pretty amazing, I think. I also increased my strength pretty significantly. So I'm using much heavier dumbbells when I do my strength training workouts. And then my cardiovascular health has improved significantly. So I wear an Oura ring, and one of the things that it tracks is cardiovascular health. And at the beginning of the year, my heart was 5.5 years younger than my physical body. And now it's 8 years younger than my physical body. So I've basically added 8 years onto my lifeline. which is huge. And again, like I already had a healthy heart, but to be able to increase my lifeline even longer, it's kind of amazing. And then my sleep has increased, which is awesome because I'm not the best sleeper, but I've definitely noticed an improvement in my sleep as well. So these little habits stack up. And I'll tell you, part of why I wanted to do this year as well is because you hear a lot about women who are going through perimenopause or menopause and how things just get harder and our bodies fall apart and it's downhill from this point on. And I really believe in the power of mindset. And so I choose not to believe that, even though I'm definitely in perimenopause. But I thought I want to do more than just not believe this. I want to prove to myself and others that it doesn't have to be this way as you're going through this transition in life. And so that's been kind of an underlying goal for me as I have 10x my health. And so because of that, something brand new that I am starting is a new membership. And so it's called Balance in the Messy Middle. And it's truly to help women who are going through this messy part of life that is perimenopause or going into menopause. And so it's a support group. It's going to be an accountability group as well. What we're going to do is once a month, we'll meet online on Zoom and we'll pick a topic and get education on that topic and then hold each other accountable to do whatever the topic is. So maybe it is the walking additional 250 additional steps every day. And so for a month, we will hold each other accountable. You'll get education on why this is important and the science behind it and why the 10,000 steps isn't actually a scientific thing. It was actually a marketing ploy, but what is the science behind the number of steps you should be getting? It will all be geared towards women as well. And then at the end of every month, we'll do everybody who did participate in the challenge, we'll do a drawing and there will be cash prizes for it. So since this is something brand new that I'm literally building the plane as it's taking off, I am giving a discount to everybody who decides to join before January 1st. And so for anybody who joins before July, I'm not giving you 6 months, before July 1st, so next week, a week from today, it will be half price for life. And so the price will be $33, but if you join before July 1st, then it will be $16.50 a month, so significantly cheaper.